Welcome to What If Female Deku Was Snowdrop, Part 4 and the finale. I hope you all have enjoyed this series, as there are several more options for My Little Pony What Ifs coming up. You can make your vote on this video, which one you'd like to see. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Last where we left off, Izumi had gone unconscious, and a figure known as Snow had shown up and talked about the eternal freeze, where we don't know what it meant. At first we're thinking it means to cover the entire world in ice, but it could be something entirely different. We go to the heroes and villains, who are currently trying to find Izumi and the dragon, both for different purposes. The villains are looking for the diamond heart the dragon has, and the heroes want to capture Izumi, more specifically the Hero Safety Committee. But depending on how this goes, their objective may have changed. As we go to a meeting with the Hero Safety Committee President and Hawks. You called me, ma'am? Yes. Change of plans. What would the change of plans be, ma'am? Get rid of Izumi. The blind girl? Yes. Her quirk is too dangerous and too powerful. I fear we cannot control it, so we must get rid of her. As you say. I'll take care of her. Good. Find her location. I'll do my best. As he leaves. As we go to Izumi, who had just woken up. As Snow happened to be there. Snow, what are you doing here? This. As he touches the eye, cover it in a little bit of ice. There, now you won't know what we're talking about. So, the Eternal Freeze plan. It will go accordingly. As I have come up with it. You created me out of the snow quite a while ago. Yes. You used a lot of energy for that. It's why you still had consciousness and full control over yourself. Yes. Around the time he'd put the necklace on me, I had focused on most of my energy in creating you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been tired of it using too much energy. So basically, you could have froze the entirety of Japan without even breaking a sweat. Yes. But creating an actual life form from snow takes a lot more energy out of me. Fair point. And I'm not the only one you've created either. 'Cause I doubt just me would make you that tired. You're right, I made others. He's going to ask you to fuse his diamond heart back with him, making him even more powerful. Yes. And you're the only one that can do it, because of your strong ice quirk. You can at least control the fusion while it's happening. Worst case scenario, you die in the process. That is the worst case scenario, yes. But I don't think it will come to that. Hopefully it won't either, and I'll make sure it doesn't. The heroes and villains are looking to head this way. Probably to deal with you. Understandable, as neither of them like me. That is true. But we have to stay strong. And you may make it through this. Yes. He's starting to wake up. I better go. Yes, you should not get caught here. As he disappears, and as the ice on the eye of the necklace that had fused with their skin defrosts, as the dragon wakes up. Yes, a good few hour nap really helps the back. As he starts stretching. Now, to make myself complete. As he starts opening the scales, revealing bones, you will refuse the heart back into my body, girl. Yes, sir. As she starts the process, as a giant light appears through the mountain where they were hiding in, can be seen through the entirety of Japan. And with no one else knowing who it was coming from, All for One knew it was the power of the Diamond Heart, as he'll make his way over to try to retrieve it with Yellow V. While on the other hand, the heroes will try to also. As we go to the heroes who see the light, that has to be where they're at. You're probably right. We need to gather up all the good heroes. As they're gathering their forces, quite a few heroes. The heroes they've gathered: Endeavor, Hawks, Best Genius, Mirako, Aizawa, All Might. That's all for now. Villains being the LOV entirely. And All for One heading there with several Nomu. As they both arrive at the mountain at the same time. Around the same time. As Snow is seen on one of the cliffs. Time to delay. As he puts both his hands on the side of the mountain. Time to wake up, my friends. As a giant ice bird, lizard, and wolf appear from the mountain. As well as a ice harpy and a fox person appear next to Snow. You two know what to do, right? Why, of course. I get to freeze all these poor souls in ice. Yes. Anything else you'll remember? Of course, delay them as long as possible. Isn't that right, Snow? Yes. Now do your job. I must make sure they don't get past the last layer. As he disappears. Hey, Icebird, you're with me. As the big, or the harpy girl, ice harpy girl, starts flying towards the heroes. As the wolf and fox person goes to deal with the Nomu, while the lizard stands at the entrance of the cave. As the heroes are trying to deal with the ice harpy and the ice bird, with Endeavor constantly trying to hit them, but they're moving so fast, even though being made out of ice. As they've been moving so fast that they can hardly be kept up with, as Hawks and a few heroes that can move fast are barely keeping up with them. While Aizawa and a few other heroes, being All Might, are heading towards the entrance. Same thing happening with the LOV, where pretty much all the Nomu are dealing with the heroes and the Ice Wolf and the Ice Fox person, who's currently just dragging the villains at Nomu, freezing them in ice. If he's pretty much dragging Nomu in ice, it's killing them because they're frozen solid to the molecular level, because the The ice fox person was granted the ability to move through ice, kind of like a liquid. So he's like has a physical form on the ice, but he's in the ice where he's moving, like he's moving with the molecules of the ice. If you know what I mean. And he's constantly grabbing several Nomu and pulling them down while the big ice wolf is just tearing them to shreds. As they approach the entrance, all for one, Dabi, Shigaraki, Aizawa, All Might arrive at the entrance at the exact same time. What do you think you're doing here? As All Might gets in a fighting stance. As they are about to clash, a ice wall appears in front of them, separating them, leaving the ice lizard on the side of the villains, as they have to deal with that, while All Might tries to break through the ice, but it's sturdy as steel. Being a thicker layer of ice than anything he had tried to punch before, it even managed to bruise his hand. Ah, my arm! You alright, All Might? Yeah, but what is that ice made out of? As snow appears, it's the purest kind of ice, known as eternal freeze, the same kind of ice that trapped the dragon. Trapped the dragon? Yes. Exactly, I think it was about 1,000 years ago. Someone with a similar power to my master had frozen the dragon and separated his heart. Although they were in different locations for certain reasons. As the heart had been extracted long ago, not knowing what he was looking for, the original person with that kind of power froze him, while the ice was in the clutches of someone else. Or the heart was in the clutches of someone else. It's what kept the thing frozen, and my master was trying to keep him frozen. But for the time you took her away, her job failed, and he managed to break free. As Aizawa knows what you mean, because we took her away from the mountain. That dragon managed to break free from his eternal slumber, essentially. Exactly. Now I want you to bear in mind, this is all y'all's fault. As he then sends a huge ice wave at them. As it's a lot less hard as the pure ice, because he can only use the move very few times, as he's not the original person. He's only a fragment of Izumi's power, separated off into branches. Well, Izumi is using all her power to try to fuse his heart with the dragon. As it's hard as the dragon's pretty much made of ice. Trying to fuse and connect everything is a nightmare. As she's slowly doing it. We go back to the villains, to where Dabi has managed to sneak away. Through the cave. Walking through. As he approaches the room, Snow gets a sensation. Someone's entering the room, as he vanishes from his spot and appears through the wall, pinning Dabi to the ground. What do you think you're doing? As he starts to freeze, as then Dabi releases his flames, catching Izumi's attention. As the dragon yells, "Focus!" As Izumi focuses back, "Of course. Sorry." As she just finishes up. There. As he feels his power returning. That's more like it. As all Might and everyone else got there at the exact same time. Where Izumi is on the ground, and the eye that was fused in her skin fades away into dust. You're no more use to me, but thank you. As All for One charges at the dragon, preparing to strike with a fierce blow, he gives a large ice blast, freezing All for One solid to the molecular level, killing him, stopping any chance of regeneration. As he falls to the ground and shatters. Now that you're dealt with, time to freeze everyone. As he flies through the mountain. As Dobby and several of the other people there try to go for Izumi. As she just vanishes as snow had dragged her through the ice, appearing on a separate mountain as he's above, about to release a huge ice blast upon the city. I don't think so. As Izumi uses her powers, well, pretty much use all of her energy, freezing him in ice. What's happening? This is impossible. I finally broke out. I shall not be trapped. As he tries to fly into the clouds. But as he flies into the clouds and everyone is watching, he just starts falling. And falling to the ground as he hits the ground. And he sinks into the mountain. As she's slowly focusing on pulling his ice down into the mountain. As she falls over. As we go to the ice wolf and the ice bird as they start fading away. Master, this is not the end for me. But I now know what happened 1,000 years ago. As we get a flashback to 1,000 years ago, as someone really similar to Izumi, but in Pegasus form, had frozen him solid, keeping him in ice. Then her body was completely frozen as well. But her location was never known. As Izumi starts to lower down into the ice. It's time I take a rest. As she's completely engulfed in ice. But Snow is shocked, as he's not fading away. Which means only one thing. She's not dead. Because his life force is connected to hers, so that means she is still alive. So Snow gathers the rest. The Ice Heartbeat and Ice Fox. As they disappear. And we skip several years later. As the place where the dragon had been buried and Izumi had been turned to ice. As both the original and Izumi and the dragon have been now turned into a display as you can come and see them. And amongst the crowd, you can see all three of the people she created. Looks like the master did do what she wanted to. But why are we here? Simple. To make sure the ice dragon never wakes up again. Now that he's been found. But won't be doing that technically ending the purpose of Izumi's power? Technically, yes. But that won't kill her. As Snow sneaks through a slow sliver of snow through the ice of eternal freeze and pierces through the diamond heart of the dragon as the life slowly leaves the dragon's body, as no one can tell because he's encased in ice. As snow collapses, being caught by Ice Harpy. Now. Thank you. Harpy. No problem. Now let's get you out of here before they find out. As they vanish, as they just go through the wall of the mountain because the mountain is made of ice. And they go to a hidden room to where they can see the original and Izumi and watch over her until she wakes up once again. I hope you all have enjoyed part 4 and the finale of What If Female Deku was Snowdrop. Make sure to like and subscribe for more.